sicknesses and diseases that are prevalent in our world today. Sicknesses are easy to get from other people when there are no precautions involved. Along with sicknesses, STDs are also easy to obtain. STDs are becoming more and more popular in our culture today. People do not seem to care about taking precautions when it comes to sexual interactions and body contact. Drinking and drugs play a big role in the situations, but STDs are still spread between people who are completely sober. Today, people appear to not want to use protection to guard themselves against life-threatening diseases. People take the diseases way too lightly, and they think that they are invincible to the spreading of sexual diseases. STDs are contagious infections that can change a person's life forever and cause a lifetime of suffering. There are two different types of STDs. KAPPI, which stands for Knox Adolescent Partners in Prevention Initiative, writes in an article called "The Difference Between Bacterial and Viral STDs" that bacterial and viral STDs are caused by two different germs that exist on Earth, and the treatment options differ for the two. Even though there are similarities between both types, they also have their differences. Bacterial STDs are caused by bacteria, which finds its way into the body through body fluids or skin contact by other people. Antibiotics usually treat bacterial STDs. The antibiotics remove the infection, but they do not prevent the STD from returning. The treatment can be temporary because the bacteria can return. Some examples of bacterial STDs include gonorrhea, syphilis, and chlamydia. And as you can see on the handout, 820,000 people in the U.S. get gonorrhea each year. KAPPI also writes that viral STDs are caused by skin contact and body fluids. Although viral STDs enter the body the same way as bacterial diseases, viruses can only regrow within living cells of a person. Bacteria doesn't get introduced to the body, they're living cells, and the cells can cause diseases. Another difference between viral and bacterial STDs is that viral STDs are not treatable. Medicine may help with the symptoms, but they never fully go away. Some examples include HIV, HPV, herpes, and hepatitis B. And as you can see on the handout, 3 in 10 new HIV infections come from people who don't know they have it, so you need to get tested. Once a person has a viral or bacterial STD, the person will experience several different symptoms. Some symptoms are more painful and noticeable than others. The Washington State Department of Health writes that although some STDs are very obvious, some STDs have mild to no symptoms. People may go periods of not even knowing they have a horrible condition. This is the way that STDs are commonly spread. The Washington State Department of Health continues to say that some obvious symptoms of STDs include pus excretion from private parts, yellowish discharge, sores on the throat, rashes, warts, and blisters. An infected partner that does not tell his significant other about the symptoms puts the healthy person at high risk of getting the STD. Some less obvious symptoms include burning while urinating for men and slight discharge for men. Women may have a little more discharge than usual, a burning feeling, and stomach pain. These symptoms may easily confuse these abnormalities with a bladder infection or a painful menstrual cycle. And as you can see on the handout, 7 out of 10 people who get chlamydia have no symptoms. Whether the symptoms are evident or not, a person still has to live with the fact that life will be different. STDs affect people's lives in different ways. Having a family may not be possible if a woman has an STD. The woman could potentially give it to her baby. A person with a viral STD has to live with the symptoms forever because it is not curable. Awkward conversations have to take place within family members and any future sexual partners. Having to tell a family member about the infection can be very hard. Family members will eventually find out, especially if the STD is viral. The conversation can be embarrassing and upsetting. Getting into a serious relationship after being diagnosed with an STD can be challenging. People may want nothing to do with you once you have an STD. There will be awkward conversations regarding the infection and sexual activity. A person should not deny that having an STD is serious. The situation isn't that big of a deal if the STD is for sure curable. Thankfully, some STDs may be treated. Antibiotics can be used to treat bacterial STDs, and there are also medications to help with the symptoms. An example of an antibiotic is penicillin. If a person is careful and cautious, STDs will never become a problem. There are many ways to prevent STDs, which include using condoms, birth control, and getting tested. Be smart about who you have sexual relationships with. Sexually transmitted diseases are contagious and easily spread within our society. Some bacterial infections may be treated while viral infections cannot. If a person does not know the diseases in the body, the person can continue to have skin contact and transmit body fluids, which keeps the STD spreading. Some symptoms may be noticeable and scary, while other symptoms can be slightly noticeable. Once the STD is in the body, a person has to live with the mistakes. No matter what the circumstance, a person should never risk catching an STD. By being smart and using protection methods, anyone can prevent STDs. An STD that can change a life isn't worth one careless mistake. Thank you.
Again?
Yeah.
We just clap, so.
It's not even on.
It's blank. It's still recording. It's
blank?
It's blank.